How's it going, everyone? I'm Sam LaFrance, along with Ryan Steinle. This is Steinle and Sam. We have all kinds of stuff going on in sports this week. NFL offseason news, NHL offseason news, NBA rumors, which are always great. The Red Sox have had quite a few games this week. And the World Cup kicked off yesterday with the host country, Russia, absolutely dominating Saudi Arabia 5-0. That's great for the host country. All the fans come out. Very loud atmosphere at the game yesterday. Couldn't even hear whistles and stuff like that. And this morning at 8 a.m. our time, Uruguay took on Egypt and won that game 1-0 with a 90th minute goal by Jose Jimenez. And the big story of this game was Mohamed Salah, who is probably a top 3 player in the world right now. After this season, he was great. He didn't get subbed on for Egypt after suffering an injury in the Champions League final about 3 weeks ago. And it might have been detrimental to Egypt today because he could have definitely helped them. Later on today, Spain will play Portugal at 2 p.m. And right now, Iran is playing Morocco and they are tied at 0-0. The NFL, the other football, has news going on for their offseason.
Yeah, there's actually quite a bit of off-season news going on for the NFL right now. So Ezekiel Elliott, definitely, he stated that he's ready to take a heavy workload for the Cowboys in 2018, obviously with the Cowboys having a kind of weak receiving core, losing Des Bryant. It's going to be interesting to see how the Cowboys use their offense this season because most of it's going to be running game. So teams are going to try to load the box, which will give matchups for the receivers that should hopefully help Dak Prescott. Also, we have Texans just re-signed linebacker McKinney to a 5-year contract worth $50 million. That's a big contract for a linebacker. He's good. I don't know if he's $50 million good, but we'll see how that works out for them because they do have a good defense. So they're trying to keep it intact is what it looks like. Also, this one's really a shocker to me. Rams defensive coordinator, he's not concerned at all with Aaron Donald not showing up to camp and OTAs or anything, and I'm stunned. I don't know why. He was defensive player of the year last year. That should be your number one priority to get that man a contract and get him locked up because he can do everything on the defensive line. He can play inside, he can play outside, and wherever he is on the defensive line, he's going to get sacks for you, he's going to get pressure. So I don't know why that's not the number one priority on the Rams list right now. Also, we have Zach Martin, Cowboys offensive guard, who agreed to a 6-year extension worth $84 million. That's going to make him the highest paid offensive lineman in NFL history. Jets offensive coordinator on quarterback Darnold, the rookie they just drafted. They're tossing everything at him right now. They're just putting him in, seeing what he can do, seeing what he knows, seeing how he can adjust to the defenses at the NFL level. We also have John Gruden, who hopes for a quick resolution on Khalil Mack holdout, which is also important because he was the former defensive player of the year before Aaron Donald was. He's also phenomenal. He can play linebacker and defensive end, so he's a big part of that defense. Landry stated during last week's show, I had said something, Landry was kind of throwing some shade at the Dolphins quarterbacks from last season, and he said that him and Ryan Tannehill didn't have a good relationship with each other, which I could see why, because I feel like Ryan Tannehill's kind of like a conceited kind of guy, just because of the way he interacts with his team and stuff. And also, Joe Flacco has had a fire lit inside of him, according to Eric Weddle, because of the offseason moves that the Ravens have made with bringing in a rookie quarterback in the first round, Lamar Jackson. So we're going to see how who's actually been getting a lot of first-team reps as of late as well. So we're going to see how Joe Flacco interacts with that, and we're going to see what goes on in camp with the Ravens.
So going back to the Jets, how much do you think they'll improve this year with Darnold at quarterback? Because that was a big issue for them last year, obviously.
Yeah, not having a quarterback for the Jets last year was kind of tough, even though McCown did play decent, probably one of his better seasons. I don't know. I'd say they could probably be like a 8-8, 9-7 team.
Really?
Yeah, depending on how Darnold plays, because right now it seems like they're tossing a lot at him, obviously. So we'll see how he has to take it all in. I'll probably be able to tell you after week 1 what I think about the kid, because I haven't really seen any film or anything on him yet.
Right, he hasn't played yet. And Aaron Donald, not showing up to OTAs, he's holding out for a contract, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of guys don't show up for OTAs. This has been a big
OTAs, but now we're also getting into mini camps, which is mandatory for teams, and he's still holding out.
Well, if it's mandatory, then
He's going to get fined,
oh, okay.
but he's still not going to go till he gets a contract. He wants to be paid like best defensive player in the NFL, which he deserves.
Why do they not pay people? Why is this? This happens all the time. It's not like this is the first time. I remember last year Odell wanted to get paid. Why don't they just pay him?
Right now, the Rams probably don't have the cap room to pay him with all the offseason moves they made. Like I don't know why that should be their number one priority to get him signed. They made a bunch of offseason moves like bringing in Ndamukong Suh, which leaves them little to no cap room.
Right, he has a massive contract.
And Aaron Donald's gonna want probably around $20 million a season. So,
do you know how much they exactly have for cap, or roughly?
probably somewhere between $8 to $10 million.
How much does he make now? Do you know?
Aaron Donald, I have no clue off the top of my head. Probably, if I had to guess, probably between $4 to $5 million a season, maybe like 3.
So they really if they have 8 to 10 and they're paying him that, they could still make some kind of improvement to his contract.
Yeah,
but they
but
also
what
need money for other people.
Exactly, and plus what he wants is going to be a massive contract.
Yeah. Another bit of news I heard yesterday. Tom Brady went on and had an interview with Oprah, and she asked him about how the Patriots handled the kneeling situation, which has been a big issue with the NFL. They even made a rule change. And the thing about the Patriots is they're very similar to the Spurs, and like their organization's very strict. They don't allow stuff like that, and they don't even celebrate after touchdowns all that much, other than the Gronk spike. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he was saying like they would have meetings, and there's all kinds of different diverse guys on the team, and he's played his whole career with diverse guys. But the meetings would they would discuss how everyone was feeling about it, and it would help them get through the issue.
Yeah.
So do you think this could be a solution for all the other teams in the NFL? I mean, they have the rule change, which I think is a decent solution, because if you don't want to stand, then you don't have to go out, which is fine, but people are still upset about it. How do you think they can improve upon this?
Well, I mean, going back to the meetings, I'm sure teams have been having meetings about it for a while. I know the Cowboys are one of the teams that have had meetings about it.
Right.
For them to be able to improve upon, I think what they're doing now is a good idea. Of course, it's going to anger some players because they're going to feel like they can't express themselves. Obviously, that's what they were doing when they were kneeling. But I think what they're doing now, and they're starting to make it more strict, I think that's going to be good. I don't think anybody's going to really go out there and disobey what the NFL's said, because there is a fine now and nobody wants to lose money, right?
Right.
None of these guys want to lose their paychecks.
Depending on, how big, do you know how big the fine is?
It's probably between 80 to 100,000.
So for some of those guys, it's not that much money, but yes, you don't want to lose money for no reason.
Exactly.
Another thing with the Patriots is, I believe after our show last week, there was heavy rumors of a Gronk trade.
Yeah, there were.
And they came out not to be true, but there had been news that broke after saying there was, but then Brady threatened to retire and, all kinds of stuff. So how are the Patriots going to deal with this internal conflict? Because it seems like Brady's calling the shots. And as a neutral, I don't really care for football, and I'm from here, but I don't care for the Patriots all that much. It's starting to bother me how much he's not letting it doesn't seem like he's letting Belichick make the moves as he should be able to. Like the Garoppolo thing that happened last year, I feel like that happened because Brady wasn't comfortable with the situation, and they had to pick between the two of them.
Should have taken Garoppolo.
Yeah, I
Brady's
completely
40.
agree. They should have. They probably could have gotten decent value for Brady.
Sure, Brady's playing lights out right now, obviously. I mean, he just came off a monster season where he took a team to a Super Bowl. They didn't win, but I mean, still took your team to the Super Bowl. But I mean, you're going to go with the younger option. Look how Jimmy G's playing right now in San Francisco.
So if you're Belichick, how does this therapeutic? How does this make you feel? You feel like you have no power, as it's really his job to be making the moves, and Kraft and Brady seem to have a connection there that things need to go through Brady. Well, kind of. He was going to retire.
Like with LeBron.
Yeah, and it's starting to bother me how much this is becoming news.
Well, I would be mad if I was Belichick, but for the face of the franchise, I would keep my cool and I'd let Brady do what he wants to do, because if you're known as the one who drove Tom Brady off the Patriots, that's not a good look for you, and nor is it a good look for the franchise.
Well, I mean, he's also been there for all the success.
That's true. He has been there for all the success.
If you think about what you said, he drives Brady off the Patriots. In my point of view, it would be Brady driving Brady off the Patriots with all the issues he's creating with the TB12 method, and like there's been some rumors of pressure around the locker room to have other guys join in on the TB12 method. The guy Alex Guerrero, who's like the personal trainer for Brady, and he's creating issues with Belichick and management. And there's all kinds of stuff going on because of Brady and because of how he wants to grow his brand now. And it seems like he's not even as concerned. He's obviously still concerned about football, but not as much as he had been. Now that he has this brand, I feel like he's trying to expand with that because he's thinking life after football. And maybe he's not putting the Patriots first anymore.
We'll see. Another thing is they got rid of Garoppolo also, so obviously
they made a decision.
They made a decision to get rid of Garoppolo. They committed to Brady, who's 40 years old now.
Yeah.
He's going to be 41 this upcoming season. If you really think about it, in Belichick's view, if you get rid of Brady, you have no quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
So maybe that's why he's just like, all right, we'll keep Gronk. We need Brady, obviously. We don't have any other quarterbacks on the roster that are capable of starting.
Well,
you have Brian Hoyer. I mean, do you really want Brian Hoyer to start for the Patriots?
No, but Belichick could just say, all right, well, I don't want to coach anymore.
He could do that, and he'll probably retire.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a good coach. What does he have left to prove?
Right. So, I mean, if this kind of thing continues, how long do you see Belichick sticking around for it? Because obviously Brady doesn't have that many years left. He said he wants to play until he can't play successfully anymore, meaning like he's not good anymore. So that could be anywhere from next year to a couple years down the road.
Yeah. I say Belichick's probably gonna leave when Brady leaves.
Yeah.
Or until the Patriots finally force out Brady.
Yeah.
Because that's gonna be coming up soon. Because they're not gonna keep a 41-year-old quarterback on the roster.
Yeah, I feel like it would have been a decent idea for them to draft a quarterback again this year after trading Garoppolo because, you know, they had Garoppolo sitting behind Brady and probably learning from Brady.
For a long time.
Right. And one of the reasons why I think he wasn't at OTAs as much this year was not to do with him, and the media blew it up to be about him and Belichick, but it was because, like, you know, he doesn't have anyone to mentor now. He has got Brian Hoyer, who's been in the league for a while. It's not like they drafted someone he can be like, all right, kid, this is what you have to do. You know, I'm not going to be here forever.
I believe I heard, I don't know how true it was, but during like the NFL draft, the Patriots were actually hoping that Mayfield was going to fall down a few spots.
And you think they would have traded?
They were going to try to trade up for him.
Do you have any idea of what they were going to offer? No.
Maybe Gronk, a few picks. Then you have Mayfield.
Yeah, but then maybe Brady. Well, at that point, Edelman hadn't been suspended, so it might have flew a bit better. And one of the things I've heard is, like, you know, this is obvious. Like, Belichick loves to get rid of players too early rather than too late.
Yeah.
And it seems like he might have been trying to do that with Gronk. You know, Gronk has an injury history and all that. And it might have been the right move because you can probably get decent value for Gronk. And if he gets hurt again this year, his value will definitely drop. So that could be an issue. Gronk could just stop playing football. There's been a lot of talk of that.
Well, Gronk wants a contract.
Right.
He wants to be paid like a wide receiver. So, and then, you know, the Patriots don't like paying people.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's why he moves a lot of people. Like, I remember Jamie Collins, that's who it was, right?
Yeah.
They traded him to the Browns.
There was a lot more to that, though, than just the money that he wanted, but...
So that's always fun with the Patriots and their money and Belichick making power moves.
Also, one more thing going back to that now that I'm thinking about it. If you are the Patriots and, like, I feel like you should be building for long-term at this point. With Brady,
I completely
with Brady
agree.
being up in age, you could have traded up for a quarterback rather than drafting offensive lineman and a running back for Brady, who's 40.
Well, the way I've looked at this situation that they have is I always connect things to basketball because that's what I know best, but it seems like they had a situation like the Celtics. They had Garoppolo, who's young, and they had a team that was good and winning, and they got rid of Garoppolo, and they really could have went in the direction the Celtics went when they had Rondo, Pierce, and Garnett, and they traded Pierce and Garnett because they were older, and they didn't end up keeping Rondo around. But he was the idea was that Rondo was going to be Rondo's team, and they made the heist of the century. They stole a bunch of draft picks from Brooklyn. Now they have Brown and Tatum, and they have the Kings pick next year. So the Patriots could have done something very similar to that and really set themselves up for more championships and more winning in the future.
Yeah, definitely.
Another league that entered its offseason very recently, the NHL.
Yeah, I don't have much. I just did a few Boston Bruins topics. The Bruins are going to be bringing up defenseman Vakinen, who's apparently ready for his transition into the NHL. They picked him 18th overall last draft.
Now, where's he coming from?
He plays, I forgot what team he plays for. It's a farm team. It's in Finland.
Oh, so he's playing overseas.
Yeah, overseas.
Well, that's good. He probably was getting plenty of time there, you know?
Yeah, definitely. They liked what they saw out of him, so they're finally going to bring him up and try to make the transition for him into the NHL. Maybe he'll play on the AHL for a little while.
Right, Providence.
He got selected 18th overall. He's a defenseman, which is good because everybody knows they need defensemen. They're also going to have a lot of younger guys coming up. They did have another first-round draft pick. I forgot who it was, but they're going to have a lot of younger guys coming up. So the defense is also going to be very young this season. Well,
it was young last year too, right?
But yeah, it's still going to be young.
Yeah.
With bringing up him, plus you have McAvoy.
Well, they'll be more experienced now because they did have a good playoff run.
Yeah.
And the defense will be a little bit more exposed to that.
But honestly, I don't know how much Chara has left in the tank. So
yeah, he's got to be really old now.
He's like 41, 42.
He's 40?
He's in his 40s, probably 39, 40.
Wow. Yeah, so this could be a similar situation where he could mentor the younger players to help them grow.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's probably what they're keeping around. He also has a no-trade clause, so it's not like you can just get rid of him unless you cut him, but then you take a massive cap hit because his contract's so big. Actually, I think they just offered him an extension, too, so they obviously want to keep him around.
Any rumors going around for the Bruins? I know they don't have much room for cap, so
I haven't really heard anything other than the Krug trade that they were talking about a couple months ago, but I haven't heard anything on that, so
it's probably a dead deal.
Yeah.
The NBA is in prime rumor season now. We got all kinds of stuff, all kinds of uncertainty around the Celtics now because Kyrie doesn't want to take an extension, which he shouldn't, because he can make significantly more money if he re-signs next summer rather than taking an extension.
How?
Because the way it works is he can sign like a Supermax contract, or not Supermax, it's called bird rights. So he would make 4 years, $107 million if he re-signed an extension this summer. But if he waits till next year, he can make an extra $80 million, and that's by re-signing with the Celtics. Really? So all the uncertainty, because he won't sign the extension, is money. It's not about whether he wants to leave. There's been plenty of talk about him wanting to leave. That's not what I could imagine it being about. He had an interview, and he was asked about it, and he said, well, it doesn't make any sense financially or contractually because, one, he gets more years if he re-signs next year, and two, he gets more money. So,
yeah, but do you think he wants to stay in Boston?
Yeah, why not? Why would you want to leave?
Yeah, I guess you have a chance to get an extra $80 million, and then you have a chance to win a championship.
The amount of success they are set up for.
That's true.
I can't imagine him wanting to leave.
I mean, only thing I could picture in my head about if he ever wanted to leave is him being the own superstar on his own team, obviously, because the Celtics have a lot of stars. This is his team.
They have stars, right? But he's not being overshadowed. He's not going to be overshadowed by anyone.
Obviously.
The issue in Cleveland was not other superstars, it'd be him being overshadowed
by LeBron.
You saw that this year with the playoffs because every time something went wrong for the Cavs, it was the other guy's fault because LeBron had a great playoffs. So all the blame comes down on those guys. And Kyrie was probably one of the main reasons they won the championship 2 years ago.
Oh, definitely.
He had the shot he made in Game 7 and all kinds of stuff like that. So he was being overshadowed. He didn't like that. And he probably didn't like the way things were kind of run by LeBron there. So I seriously can't imagine that he has a lot of issues with what's going on here. He didn't really get the experience of the full team last year with all the injuries, himself included.
So upcoming season, after this season, when Kyrie is going to be able to, wants to re-sign with the Celtics, They're gonna probably be offering him around 182 million
Something like that. Yeah, he gets a lot of money, 5 years.
for 5 years, 182 million.
Yeah.
So, do you think there's a possibility that if a team was to offer him a larger contract than the Celtics
They
were,
can't.
they
That's
can't
the thing,
because of bird rights?
They can't. That's what the NBA does to prevent super teams and stuff like that. They make it so there's incentives to re-sign with the team that you're playing with now.
Okay.
So another thing about that is it's actually good for both sides because he gets more money. And he's coming off a knee surgery, and he's expected to be fine. But if there is some reason that he's not fine,
They have an opportunity to.
well, they won't have already signed him to an
Yeah.
extension, so they would have negotiable terms. Which, to what you said, someone could offer him more money. Yes, in that situation, someone could offer more money, and he might want to leave. But all the news is he should be fine. All that was fixing the surgery he had a couple years ago when he broke his kneecap in the finals, and he had to get wires and stuff out of his knee to prevent infection. So he should be fine. Speaking of LeBron, more rumors for him. His sons are enrolled in a high school in Sierra Valley, California. That is raising all kinds of speculation that he's intending to go to play for the Lakers, which go for it. He won't win there. But apparently they have been enrolled there for some time just to have a spot. Like this, it's a private school. It's not like a public school. So just to make sure they have a spot if something happens.
No, to the Lakers, they must have a lot of cap room, right?
They have cap. The idea for the Lakers, their blueprint, so to speak.
Paul George,
LeBron, maybe Chris Paul. Even then, they're not better than the Warriors. They're not.
With LeBron?
No.
Paul George. Well,
Paul George isn't that good.
Yeah, he's not that good anymore. But with Chris Paul and LeBron?
No.
You don't think so? I feel like the Warriors only truly have one megastar on that team. I mean, sure,
they
you
have two top 5 players in the league.
I know, but I really consider Kevin Durant like a megastar rather than like Curry.
Him and Curry are both top 5 in the league.
I don't know.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I just don't consider Curry like a megastar. Like
Curry won 2 MVPs in a row. Like
I know,
2 years ago.
I know, but like I just don't consider him like a megastar. Like I would consider Durant.
I understand that
like,
KD is the better player.
That's why I feel like KD can do more than Curry.
Curry's still.
Well, he's still good. He's still a
top
superstar.
5 player in the league.
He's still a superstar. I'm not saying he's not a superstar.
I mean,
I'm just saying KD has like another level to his game that Curry doesn't have.
If you, going back to what you said, one megastar. How many megastars do the Lakers have in that situation?
LeBron.
All right, so they both have one megastar, and Kevin Durant has a better supporting cast.
Yeah, I guess you could say that, yeah.
So, with all the LeBron stuff going on, there's still speculation he would want to come to the Celtics. And the more and more I think about it, especially, so this is how I feel. If there is significant uncertainty that rises with Kyrie, which I don't see happening, everything he said recently has been, it looks like he's going to stay here. It's just about the money. But if there's something that comes up and they say, well, it looks like he's going to leave, then they might be better off signing LeBron. And the thing I heard is like a sign and trade, like because Kyrie doesn't want to play with him, and the money would work out this way. LeBron signs for the Cavs, and they trade Kyrie for LeBron, and LeBron would be here, Kyrie would be there, and they wouldn't be playing together. I mean, if you're going to get 1 year of LeBron, 1 year of Kyrie, you're probably better off with 1 year of LeBron at this point. I mean, I don't like the way he does anything, like with like organizations, like he seems like he has to run everything, but I don't trust Kyrie. The way Kyrie does interviews is so weird. He's so good at dodging questions, and it just doesn't seem like he ever answers anything, and it makes me so uncertain that he would leave. But what he did say in the last interview, which was early this week, makes me feel a lot better. But that is a thought I had this week. I was like, well, as much as I really don't want it to happen, it might be the better situation if things don't work out with Kyrie, but I don't see that happening. But speaking of the Lakers, Lonzo Ball, off the court annex, he released a diss track on his teammate Kyle Kuzma.
Oh my God.
These guys are good friends, but one of the things Lonzo Ball said in this rap, he made fun of Kuzma never meeting his biological father.
Oh, that's messed up. That's not funny.
These guys are teammates, and this is a franchise that is trying to recruit LeBron James. And the best part of this is Magic Johnson told the two of them to step into his office, and he's like, all right, tone down all this stuff. We're trying to recruit LeBron to come play for us. You guys are a bunch of kids messing around, and we're trying to maybe win. But it's just really funny. Every time, you hear about the Ball family, they get bad publicity all the time. And other than this, I've really liked the way Lonzo handles everything because his father, LeVar, is so outspoken. Oh, my son's the best ever. He's going to be better than Curry, this, that, and the other. But Lonzo's so quiet. So it's really respectable. And, another thing, LeBron going to the Lakers, would he want to deal with LeVar? A lot of people don't like LeVar. I like LeVar. I like the way he has confidence in his kids.
I feel like if
can't knock that.
I feel like if LeBron went to the Lakers, you'd be the one to tell LeVar, hey, shut up. Let me do me. Let me run this team.
To which LeVar would reply, Lonzo's better than you, buddy.
Yeah.
and LiAngelo's going to be better than you, too.
Let's see the stats, LeVar. Let's see the stats.
I hope they draft LiAngelo. That'll show who's really running the franchise there.
Nah, ridiculous.
Oh my God!
I still remember at the beginning of the draft last year is if the Lakers it was somewhere along the lines of if my son's not playing for the Lakers then
well he wanted him to draft all the other two sons. He wants him to draft LiAngelo. He wants him to draft LaMelo, and have all three of the kids playing for the Lakers. But the thing is, Lonzo didn't have a extremely successful rookie season. He wasn't terrible. He made all rookie second team. And he averaged 10, 7, and 7, which isn't really that bad.
Yeah.
A lot of people knocked him because of all the hype that was around him, because of his dad, because of UCLA, all kinds of stuff.
Lost his shot in the NBA.
Yeah, he didn't shoot a high percent, stuff like that. He was injured too. But he could be great, but I feel like they don't hold the amount of leverage as they held last year when they picked Lonzo and everybody was like, he's going to be the next Laker great and all that. And he had an okay rookie season, not anything special, not in the Rookie of the Year race at all. So they don't have as much power there. Dwayne Casey, the former coach of the Raptors, who could be coach of the year after being fired, and when he was announced finalist for the award, the Raptors gave him a big congrats after firing him, signed on to be the Pistons head coach, which could be good for them because, obviously he's a decent head coach to be considered for the award, to have the Raptors having a 60-win season. They might have 59.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that. But close to 60 wins. The Pistons have a decent team, and they've had a decent team for a couple years now, and they only made the playoffs once in 2016. And they really have potential to be a good team. Drummond, Griffin, they have Reggie Jackson playing point guard. Their team's solid. They should be in position to be able to make the playoffs now. They have a decent head coach.
That all depends
not
on
that Stan Van Gundy's not a good head coach, because he is as well.
That all kind of depends on if Blake Griffin can stay healthy.
Well, he was healthy when they traded for him last year.
Yeah, but then didn't he end up getting hurt?
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure he missed a few games.
Oh, he might have missed a few games.
Well,
But it wasn't anything
more
significant.
than a few, but it was probably 20. Towards the end of the season, I feel like he stopped playing.
Maybe they just shut him down because they wanted to tank. Who knows?
Yeah, I guess.
We talked about tanking last week. NBA draft next Thursday, June 21st. The Suns, Kings, and Hawks will all pick in the top 3. Interesting story with the Suns. They signed a head coach that was a former coach of top prospect Luka Doncic, who's from Serbia, and he's playing for Real Madrid now. So I feel like they may want to draft Doncic, even though he might not be the extreme front runner in this draft, but he has potential to be very good. He won a European championship with Real Madrid this year. Other prospect, DeAndre Ayton, could be a top pick for them. And it'll be interesting to see who the Kings pick and how it affects their season next year, because the Celtics have their pick, so it's very important for the Celtics. And that could be a pick that they could trade if they make any trades, which they don't need to do at all because they're set. They're basically getting 2 max superstar free agents coming back from injury, so they'll have an even better team than they had a month ago when they were in the playoffs, going to the conference finals, Game 7. And then we have the Red Sox, who last weekend hosted 3 games against the White Sox at Fenway. And they dropped 2 out of 3 games against Chicago, which is surprising because Chicago is a mediocre team. Red Sox had the best record in the league. Chris Sale pitched Friday. He lost because he didn't get any run support, which is also surprising because the Red Sox have been so hot at the plate, and he was 5-4 last week. Porcello lost on Sunday, and he was 8-3. But David Price, Boston's favorite son, moved to 7-4 against the White Sox. He picked up the win on Saturday. On Monday, they traveled down to Baltimore to play the Orioles. Stephen Wright continued his great pitching, and he didn't get a decision, even though he went 6 2/3 shutout innings. His knuckleball has been on point. The Sox won in extras, 2-0, behind 2 sac flies in the 12th by Brock Holt and Jackie Bradley Jr. And Tuesday, they also won 6-4. Eduardo Rodriguez moved to 8-1, even though he went only five innings. Rafael Devers, 10th home run, and Andrew Benintendi, 12th home run. Each hit home runs, obviously, and they drove in 2 runs apiece. Mookie Betts returned to the lineup finally after being out for a couple of weeks on Wednesday and got right back to his hot streak, 18th home run of the season. J.D. Martinez hit his league-leading 22nd home run of the season. And Chris Sale finally got some help through 6 innings, gave up 1 run, and they won 5-1. So he did get the win, 6-4 now. Sale has been impressive, but I feel like he's still underachieved because of the record. But like I said, he didn't get run support, and that happens quite a bit in baseball because pitchers pitch well, but the team doesn't help them out. It's very tough. And a guy like Eduardo Rodriguez has been, he's 8-1. But he only lasts like 5 innings, so there's a lot of pitches, but he gets the run support, so he wins games. So record doesn't say everything. ERA is very important too. And then finally, last night they were in Seattle, started their 4-game series against the Mariners. David Price, once again, solid outing. 7 innings, only giving up 1 run. And Xander Bogaerts hit his 10th home run of the season, go-ahead home run in the 6th inning. And they won that game 2-1. And his 10th home run, he only had 10 last season. So Bogaerts, significant improvement from last year at the plate. Still great in the field, made a nice play yesterday. Sliding stopper on second base, turned a double play basically by himself. Stephen Wright has been incredible for the Red Sox. Hasn't given up a run in 22 2/3 innings pitched.
Wow.
He came back from injury this year. And that's really good for their rotation. It's buffed up now. They have Rodriguez, who's 8-1, like I just said. Stephen Wright, 1.21 ERA, and then Sale, Price, Porcello, all great pitchers. So their rotation is great. Their lineup has been great, and they still only have a 1-game lead over the Yankees in the AL East, which is crazy because, these are the 2 best teams in the league right now, and they're in the same division. And it's great for the rivalry. It's more fun to watch, especially, when the teams get in heated battles. They had the brawl earlier this year at Fenway where Joe Kelly, who has been great this year since opening day when he had like a huge collapse in the 8th inning. But since then, he's been shut out. Absolutely amazing. And he's become a fan favorite because of the brawl. And, the bullpen's coming back to form after a shaky stretch for a couple weeks. Like I said, one game lead over the Yankees. 3 more games in Seattle this weekend, and they'll play Minnesota next week. And another thing in league news is a video came out this week of a mic'd up umpire. Did you see this?
I did see it, yeah.
So
he was arguing with the Mets.
Right. A pitcher got ejected. Noah Syndergaard got ejected because he threw a pitch behind Chase Utley, who in the playoffs the year before had spiked someone at second base, which is like when you slide in and you get them with your cleat.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's a big no-no in baseball, obviously. So they assumed he was trying to hit him. So they threw him out of the game, and the umpire's mic'd up so you can hear the conversation, like the argument going on. And it's really entertaining because you see the emotion and what actually happens. And then the manager for the Mets comes out and argues with the umpire, and you can tell like the umpire knows that the manager has to do this. Like this is something because they're at home.
Yeah,
fans are watching. You have to go out and defend your player. And he's like, all right, get it out. Like, get it out. I'm not going to throw you out, but just get out what you have to say and go back to the dugout. Eventually happens. This would be great for the league if they did this all the time because games would be more entertaining and more people would watch. Because if he's mic'd up all the time, you can hear the conversation with the batter. Maybe if there's, like, talk going on at the plate, trash talk between the catcher and the batter, which I don't think even happens that much in baseball because it's
probably not.
It's not like it's like an unwritten rule. You don't distract them. But it would be great. More people would watch the game, and it could save the decline that is obviously happening in the sport right now.
Yeah.
It's not a good look for the game. it's such a historical game that's been around for so long. It would be a shame to see it go to waste.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So that is all we have this week. Thanks for listening to us. Follow us on Twitter at Steinle and Sam, and we'll see you next week.